So today we're going to do part 7, which are pages 126 to 141 of The One and Only Ivan, and today is May 19th. So if you want to read along with me, go ahead and hang out. If not, you can read by yourself, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and turn to page 126. We're going to start at protector. My family, which humans call a troop, was just like any other gorilla family. There were 10 of us, my father, the silverback, my mother, and 3 other adult females, a juvenile male called a blackback, and 2 young gorillas. Tag and I were babies of the group. We squaddled now and then, as families will, but my father knew how to keep us in line with a simple scowl. And for the most part, we were happy to do what we were meant to do, to feed, to forage, and nap and play. My father was the master at leading us to the ripest fruit for our morning feast and the finest branches for our night nests. He was everything a silverback is meant to be, a guide, a teacher, a protector. And nobody could chest beat like my father. Gorilla babies, elephant babies, and human babies are not so different, except that gorilla gets to spend the day riding on his mother's back, like a cowboy on a horse. It's a pretty great system from the baby's point of view. Slowly, carefully, a young gorilla begins to venture further and further away from the safety of his mother's arms. He learns the skills he will need as an adult, how to make a nest of branches, weaving them tight or they will fall apart in the middle of the night, how to beat your chest, cup your palms to amplify the sound, how to go vining from tree to tree, don't let go, how to be kind, be strong, be loyal. Growing up gorilla is just like any other kind of growing up. You make mistakes, you play, you learn, you do it all over again. It was, for a while, a perfect life. The end. One day, a still day, when the hot air hummed, the humans came. Vine. After they captured my sister and me, they put us in a cramped, dark crate that smelled like urine and fear. Somehow I knew that in order to live, I had to let my old life die. But my sister could not let go of our home. It held her like a vine, stretching across the miles, comforting, strangling. We were still in our crate when she looked at me without seeing, and I knew that the vine had finally snapped. The temporary human. It was Mac who pried open the crate, Mac who bought me, Mac who raised me like a human baby. I wore diapers, I drank from a bottle, I slept in human beds, sat in human chairs, listened when human words swarmed me like angry bees. Mac had a wife back then, Helen. Helen was quite quick to laugh, but quick to anger too, especially when I broke something, which was often. Here is what I broke while I lived with Mac and Helen. 1 crib, 46 glasses, 7 lamps, 1 couch, 3 shower curtains, 3 shower curtain rods, 1 blender, 1 TV, 1 radio, 3 toes, my own. I broke the blender when I squeezed 3 tubes of toothpaste and a bottle of glue into it. I broke my toes attempting to swing from the lamp fixture on the ceiling. I broke 46 glasses. Well, it turns out there are many ways to break a glass. Every weekend, Mac and Helen took me in their convertible to the fast food restaurant where they would order me French fries and a strawberry shake. Mac loved to see the expression on the cashier's face when he drove up and said, could I have some extra ketchup for my kid? I went to baseball games, to grocery stores, to movie theaters, even to the circus. They didn't have a gorilla. I rode a little motorbike and blew out candles on a birthday cake. My life as a human was a glamorous one, although my parents' traditional sorts would not have approved. Hunger. In my new life as a human, I was well tended. I ate lettuce leaves with Thousand Island dressing and caramel apples and popcorn with butter. Oh, my belly ballooned. But hunger, like food, comes in many shapes and colors. At night, lying alone in my poo pajamas, I felt hungry for the skilled touch of a grooming friend, for the cheerful grunts of a playful fight, for the easy safety of my nearby troop foraging through the shadows. Remember what happened to Tag, I told myself. Don't think about the jungle. Still, sometimes I lay awake, wishing for the warmth of another just like me. Asleep in the night nest of tender prayer plant leaves. I liked having sips of soda poured into my mouth like a bubbling waterfall, but every now and then I longed to search for the tender stalk of the arrowroot, to feel the tints of a mango just out of reach. Still life. One day, Helen came home with something large and flat, wrapped in brown paper. "Look what I bought today," she said excitedly as she tore the paper off. "A painting to go over the living room couch." "Fruit in a bowl?" Max said with a shrug. "Big deal." "This is fine art. It's called a still life," Helen exclaimed. "And I think it's lovely." I dashed over to examine the painting and marvel at the shapes and colors. "See," said Max's wife, "Ivan likes it." "Ivan likes to roll up poop and throw it at squirrels," Max said. I couldn't take my eyes off of the apples and bananas and grapes in the picture. They looked so real, so inviting, so edible. I reach out to touch a grape, but Helen slaps my hand. "Bad boy, Ivan, don't touch." She jerked her thumb to Mac. "Honey, go get a hammer and a nail, would you?" While Mac and Helen were busy in the living room, I wandered into the kitchen. The cake covered with thick chocolate frosting sat on the counter. I like cake. Love it, in fact. But it wasn't eating I was thinking about. It was painting. The frosting peaked and dipped like waves on the tiny pond. It looked rich and gooey, dark and smooth. It looked like mud. I scooped up a handful of frosting. I scooped up another. I headed to the fridge door. It was perfect, an empty white waiting canvas. The frosting wasn't as easy to work with as the jungle mud. It was stickier and, of course, more tempting to eat. But I kept at it. I scraped off every last bit of frosting. I may have eaten a little cake, too. I don't remember what I was trying to paint. A banana, most likely. I suppose I knew I was going to get in trouble, but at the moment, I just didn't care. I wanted to make something, anything, the way I used to. I wanted to be an artist again. Punishment. I soon learned that humans can screech even louder than monkeys. After that, I was not allowed in the kitchen. Babies. Back in those days, the Big Top Mall was smaller. It had a pony ride and a wooden train that busted around the parking lot, and a few bedraggled parrots, and surely spider monkeys. But when Mac brought me a baby gorilla dressed in a crisp tuxedo to the mall, everything changed. People came from far and wide to have their picture taken with me. They bought me plaques and a toy guitar. They held me in their laps. Once I even held a baby in mine. She was small and slippery, bubbles flowing from her lips, and she squeezed my finger. Her rear was puffy with padding. Her legs burrowed like bent twigs. I made a face. She made a face. I grunted. She grunted. I was so afraid she would fall. I squeezed her tight, and her mom yanked her away. I wonder if her mother ever worried about dropping us. We always held on, but that's easier to do when your mom is furry. Human babies are an ugly lot, but their eyes are like our baby eyes, too big for their faces and for the world. One day, after many weeks of loud talking, Helen packed a bag, slammed the front door, and never came back. I don't know why. I never know the why of humans. That night, I slept with Mac in his bed. My old nest, woven with leaves and sticks and shapes like his bathtub. Cool colors of cocoons. Mac's bed, like mine, was flat, hot, without sticks or stars. Still, he made a sleeping sound like a rumble my father used to make when all was well, the sound from deep inside his belly. All right, so that's where we're going to stop today, okay? So I want you to go on Google Classroom, do your assignments for today, and we'll get back together tomorrow. Bye, guys.